you some of the things that we've learned, some of the things that we've observed. We've taken some different courses and trainings from some of the best out there. And we're going to share some of those pearls of wisdom with you tonight. I haven't taken these glasses
I'm
off,
actually not on Facebook very much at all. I spend like 90% of my time on Instagram. I do personally feel like that's where it's at for many reasons. You're just not limited like you are in Facebook. And so I feel like, especially if you're in business, it's just one of those things that it's a necessity because you're not limiting yourself on followers or who you can follow.
What do you mean by limited? Tell me. So Facebook has you limited?
Yeah, so Facebook, you're limited, as all of you probably know. And I have to go through and be like, okay, who do I delete now? Because if any of you have tried to connect with me on Facebook, I am so sorry. I totally suck at going through and deleting people so I can add new people. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm limited. I'm kind of stuck at 5,000 followers. Now, people can still follow you, but it's still not quite the same. You can't be friends necessarily. So I guess there is that way that people can still follow you. But anyways, with Instagram, you have no limitations. You could have a million people following you. You could follow a million people. It's just, I feel like the interaction is just different. And I love the flow. I love the pictures. Pictures, I feel like, are worth 1,000 words. Is that what the saying is? I don't know. I think it's worth more than that, actually, because I've shopped so much. When I was pregnant with Legend, I did a lot of my baby shopping with Instagram by just going through and following all of these different baby boutiques. And I learned a lot about, figuring out which stroller I wanted to get this time and different things like that. A lot of it, I spent a lot of my time researching and stuff on Instagram. You can use hashtags. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But anyways, I just feel like there's a lot less limitations on Instagram in building your business and building your following. And I love the functionality of it. I've been a big Instagram person for a while.
So let's get into it and talk a little bit about Instagram. So first of all, is Instagram even right for your business? Well, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, who is our target market? And our target market is anybody with DNA.
Exactly.
In all reality. There's a lot of talk about the influence of the millennial generation. You can't discount the millennials. They are the influencers, the up-and-coming influencers. And you have to understand that these influencers were raised not the way that we were, where they're accustomed to going to an office or going to a job every day. Many of them have been raised in an environment like our children where they've watched their parents make money online on social media, and they want to follow in those footsteps. And so a lot of the millennials are blowing up the network marketing industry right now. There's some of the, you're seeing it all across the board, whether it's Euphoria, who's highlighting millennials because they want people to see these millennials out there, whether it's, Network Marketing Pro, and you go to the event, you're hearing some of these millennials, $1 million earners. It's an industry that definitely is growing and booming inside of the network marketing space. And here's the thing, most of those millennials, they're on Instagram and they're not necessarily on Facebook. I hate to say it, but my kids, 19, 20 years old and kind of even a few older, they think that they tell us that we're old. And a
lot of the influencers, women influencers that I follow, they do still have a Facebook page, but the majority of their business and influence is done on Instagram. And some of these women for fashion or, there's so many different types of things, or cute shirts that they're selling, or baby boutiques or whatever. They're huge on Instagram, like the Goosebumps. And they're all, those people who are those influencers and business owners those are in their 30s. So I feel like, I don't know how accurate these are. I'm sure there is a huge 55%, but I feel like there's even a lot more in the 30s that is being included. So I don't want to say that it's only, your business is only dependent on millennials, because but I do think that they know what's up. They know what's up. What's up there. I feel like they're also on target with knowing how to take care of their body sooner than maybe our generation was too, which I feel like is also awesome for the Euphoria opportunity.
Well, if you add up 18 to 49, which is a big demographic within our business, you're looking at approximately, what is that? 75, or almost 80%, 85% of the population. Was that 83? I can't even do the math. See, I'm tired today. It's been a long day. There you go. Can't even do the math. So, and here's another thing just to consider. Think about it. People remember 20% of what they hear, 30% of what they see, and an amazing 70% of what they hear and what they see. Instagram it's a lot about the imagery. It's a lot about the pictures. It's a lot about pulling people in with those pictures, but then you also have the opportunity to be able to put videos out there, the stories that you can put out there as well. So it's an opportunity to really reach, again, just a completely different demographic in an entirely different way.
Yes, and I wanted to add right here too, if you have 10,000 followers and you open up a business page on Instagram, just kind of a side note, you can do the swipe up thing where on your story, you could do your normal stories of how, you know, your day is going, throw in there something about euphoria. I know that we're really promoting, you know, showing your morning routine, how you're taking your euphoria in the morning with a little video or a clip or however you want to do it. But, you know, in your stories in Instagram, if you have 10,000 followers, you can actually in your story make it have a link to a video, to your website, to whatever information that you want to connect to your story. So what's awesome about that is people can just automatically swipe up, and then in the back there, when you're looking at this, you can see how many people clicked through, what percentage of people clicked on that link, all this stuff. So it's super awesome for businesses in that way too, but you do have to have the 10,000 people follower mark to be able to have that swipe up and connect that link in your story. Just a side note.
This was really interesting to me. So if you look at the growth since 2013, it's been significant. It's one of the fastest growing social media sites that's out there today. They just reached 1 billion users, and they're continually climbing and climbing and climbing. Whereas Facebook, this is the first year that they actually had a reduction in the amount of users. Oh, wow. So I thought that that was interesting as well. So once again, it's just, you know, you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. It's all about diversification when it comes to business and reaching where, you know, in this business, you've got to find your peeps, right? At the end of the day, you've got to be able to reach your peeps, network, develop new relationships. Instagram has more engagement per post than any other social network. Consider this, 84 times more than Twitter, and 10 times more than Facebook. So 10 times the engagement that you would receive on Facebook. Sorry, we got somebody's unmuted. Let me mute them out real quickly. All right, so we'll keep going. So just giving you guys some good information about it so that you guys, and again, this is all about perspective, you guys. We're not telling you got to go build your business on Instagram or you've got to do it this way or that way. You know, there's a saying that I love in this business, and that is you build the business all ways and you build it always. Yeah. And so what we're doing is we're just providing perspective so that you can make good decisions for your business. And that's the purpose of this training tonight. But once again, 10 times the engagement. That was pretty staggering.
Part of me wonders, I would like to know, just curious, because my brain works like this, if 10 times more engagement has anything to do with the fact that you're not limited to 5,000 friends. You know, but it's amazing. I love it.
Well, take a look at this. So when we're talking about seconds spent on your site, you know, when we talk about engagement, what does that mean? It's a measure of time spent on a site by a traffic source. So Instagram has the highest engagement of every single platform. YouTube was second. And that's another area that I started focusing heavily on over the course of the last year. And it's paid huge dividends in our business. So, you know, YouTube was my focus last year. And I would tell you that we probably sponsored, I would say 30 plus people in our business in the last year from YouTube. And that's my plan with Instagram this year, is just to, again, add that other source. But you look at the engagement and it's pretty impressive. The other one is LinkedIn. Impressive. LinkedIn is another one that's up there pretty high. Wow. I don't know how many of you guys are really engaged on LinkedIn. That's another area that I've just started to work on LinkedIn, but my presence hasn't been there. So again, just thinking out loud, remember the business that we're in. We're a networking business. It's all about connecting.
Staying relevant.
All right, so we're gonna get into some tips with you guys tonight. We're gonna share some different tips that'll help you if you're on Instagram or if you'd like to open up an Instagram account. So the first one has to do with your bio. You wanna cover this one?
Sure. So create a benefit-driven Instagram bio, okay? How do we do that? Instagram only allows live link in your bio. This is huge. I actually have to update mine on Instagram on what my website is, but it allows you to have your little bio and then have an active link. So when you're doing your pictures or you're doing your lives or you're doing your stories, whatever, you can say, hey, if you want, and, you know, talk about whatever you're talking about and then say, hey, for those of you who are interested, I have a link in my bio. Just click the link in my bio. You can also just, when you're doing posts, say the same thing. People go out of your post and they can just click directly on the bio link up there on the corner. So you can put your I don't know why my brain is dead, your Euphoria website up there, Or if there's somebody, or if you want to put something else there, that's fine too. But for business, that would be a great way to put that there. Create a clear benefit to your audience to visit the link. So we just went over that. Why would they want to visit the link? To find out more information about what you just did your live on, or your story, or whatever you posted on your Instagram post. If you're unsure how to create a benefit-driven bio, use this formula. I feel like this is a great formula. Out of all of the different things I've seen, I feel like this is the most helpful because they limit you on, how many characters you can use. Thankfully, it's way better than Twitter, but it does give you enough to be able to do a very good little bio. So here's the formula. I help, and then you decide what your target audience is, and you fill in the blank right there. Solve, and then whatever the irritating problem that they have, fill in the blank there. Buy, and then what's your solution? Euphoria or DNA nutrition, DNA specific, designer nutrition, whatever you want to put there. And then say learn more at, and then insert your website. So right there, it tells you how to help put your link up there and how to connect with a target audience. And there you have it. That's how you do a great Instagram bio.
It's a great tip. Number 2 is leverage the right hashtags to expedite your growth. So there is a 12.6% increase of engagement when people are using hashtags. Mm-hmm. So if you were to go to the search engine in Instagram, and one of the things that I heard that really stood out to me is more and more people are actually searching in Instagram instead of Google to find information out about products and about information. In my mind, whenever I want to go look up something, I just immediately think, I'm going to Google it. But there's an entirely new generation and a new movement of people that are going immediately to social media sites like Facebook, and even Instagram is one of the top growing search engines when it comes to searching for things. And so go ahead.
I was going to add, for sure, I've done this a lot. I actually do this. I didn't realize how much I did this until we were going over and taking this course that we had taken, but I actually do it a lot. I found so many of the products that I buy for my kids, for my baby, for my, for toddler, for certain clothes. When I was looking for Disneyland gear to try to get a family shirt, I actually went here first before even Google, because I know there's so many businesses on Instagram that advertise to this, and they're super good at using hashtags. So it basically searches everything. I actually use this a lot, and Google was my second. Either Google or Amazon is always my second. They're kind of a tie, depending on if I want to buy something or if I want to just learn something. But the point is, I'm not the only one that's doing that. It's good to know. This is a huge, huge thing, and hashtags are important. I just don't feel like people, they do use them, hashtags in Facebook, but I feel like people, they'll put them in, but I don't know that people search for them as much in Facebook. But I know that for sure in Instagram, 100% hashtags is where it's at. And you want to be really creative and specific about that. So your hashtags, because then people can go up and they can find. So you want to be creative, but then you also want to make sure that it's something that someone would think about, and it's not something that's so creative that it would not be, people wouldn't put that in. So it's kind of a mix of two, in my opinion. So.
And again, if you do a search, you're going to see that it shows up in a couple of different places, both top posts as well as most recent. And by using the right hashtags, you can easily start to expand the reach of your post and find yourself trending on many of these different hashtags. And so let's say DNA nutrition is something that somebody is searching for. If you're consistently hitting that hashtag, you can start trending under that hashtag when people are searching for that. So how do you know what hashtags to use? Well, start looking for influencers that are in your field. So if it's not specific to Euphoria, maybe you even start looking at the Euphoria influencers, see what hashtags they're using, and you can piggyback a little bit on some of their traffic just by following and utilizing some of those same hashtags. And go ahead. No, please go ahead. No.
Also, one more thing that I like, I've seen this done several different ways, but you can create your specific hashtag. And by just going in here and searching, you'd see if there was anybody else using it. But I know a lot of people who have Instagrams for their dogs or their babies will actually create a hashtag. Like I would create one that says hashtag Legend Malone. If Legend, our baby, had an Instagram page, and then everything, if I ever wanted to search anything up, or if my mom had Legend and wanted to post something, like when we're on, vacation or we're on a business trip, and she was watching him, she could actually post in her post and add a hashtag Legend Malone. It would go specifically, how many hashtags Legend Malones are there? Probably not with his name. So then what's kind of cool is you're basically collecting anytime anybody puts a picture of your family on about Legend, it would basically be, you can go search it and you'd find all of them on there. So it's kind of like collecting a scrapbook, if you will, of that. And so you can do the same thing with business too. You can have your own business hashtag as well as the other hashtags like DNA, and you're basically you're gathering all that. Anytime anybody puts anything on your team, you could have a team hashtag. Anyways, it's really fun to think of all the different ways that you can do that.
Well, and a pro tip too, one thing that you can do if you want to keep your posts clean and the actual text portion clean is you can actually do your hashtags in the comments section below. So you can store your hashtags that you often use maybe in your notes, and then you can copy those and you can come down into your comments after you've posted. So if you don't want to have all the hashtags right in there with your wording and it looks junky to you, you can come in and post them under your comments and still accomplish the same thing as well. Okay, this should say number 3, but leverage the right, we're still on it. Leverage the right hashtags to expedite your growth. So again, here's an example. If I were searching for German Shepherds, you can see by searching, if you look over, there's top people or tags. If you want to know what are the top tags for German Shepherds, here you go. German Shepherd, you click on tags, and then you can see the top hashtags currently being used under this category. So I'm sure many of you guys tonight are going to be searching for euphoria, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're going to be searching for DNA nutrition, and you're going to be searching for all of those things. I think You Matter is one that's coming up under euphoria, or it was trending for a little while back. So this just gives you an example of how do you come up with some of the popular hashtags.
Also, when you're actually creating the hashtag, if you're doing it on your post, you will actually be able to see as you're typing it out how many people use that hashtag before you click that you want to use it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it kind of helps give you an idea. If you see, it will show you as you're typing, oh, look at, there's German Shepherds with an S, here's German Shepherd. You can just see with that difference right there, the German Shepherds with an S versus German Shepherds. There's so many more people. There's 3 million that says German Shepherd versus with an S. So then maybe that would be like, ooh, I don't want to put an S then. I want to leave the S out. So that also helps you.
All right, so number 3, develop an effective content strategy for Instagram. So think about what will interest someone in coming back for more great photos, and think about some of the effective strategies. You know, to me, it's all about adding value. At the end of the day, you're adding value, you're uplifting, you're creating positive content. You know, content to me establishes trust, and trust is what drives revenue. So at the end of the day, be creative, have fun with it, but also come from a place that you're serving and you want to add value. You want to uplift. You want to share, you know, some of your knowledge and wisdom, and you want to think about who is my audience? Like, who are the people that I'm trying to reach? Are they unhealthy? Are they unhappy? Are they struggling with certain health issues? Are they looking for solutions to particular challenges when it comes to their health? And speak to them, talk to them, maybe educate them, talk about AC11, talk about some of the different ingredients that we have, highlight a different ingredient once or twice a week on top of some of your other personal content as well.
Love that. All right, number 5.
Number 4. No, we're still on 4.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Use newsjacking to ride the wave. What is newsjacking? This is actually the first time I've ever heard this, but I know when you see what this is, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I've totally done that or seen that a lot. You can do this on Facebook, Instagram, or any of the social medias, but basically you take what's going on in the news and you repost it, basically like, you know, sending this information out to all of your followers. This is a perfect example. Travis did a post on this earlier. Lady Gaga has been, sorry, that's my baby banging on the door right there. Lady Gaga has been in the news. I don't know if any of you saw her performance with Bradley Cooper. Super amazing. The movie is awesome. But she has been in the news a lot because of this movie and her performance. And so this came out here. Sorry, we have a little 2-year-old who's ready for bed. So this came out in the news about Lady Gaga, and Travis reposted it. And basically, you know, you're reposting it so that it will also attract people to your site because you're using what's already in the news and you're just riding the wave. You're reposting it, and it will also, you know, people might be like, oh, what's this? This is interesting. And they'll click on it to see what's going on. Also, just as a kind of a back or something, an add-in, is when you're doing your stories, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, it's always really great. Something like this, you could put in your stories, and then you could kind of scribble out a certain section of it so they can't exactly see what you wrote and be like new post. And then it basically allows people to want to go to your actual post on your page and click onto that and be able to see your page then. So that's also kind of a really good way to use this, not only just in your posting on your page in Facebook or Instagram, but also in your stories. And then it will drive people from your stories who are looking at stories to your actual page.
Well, look at it this way. At the end of the day, this is attracting new people. This is going to show up because it's trending. People are going to see it. They're going to click on it. And then they're going to wonder about you. And they're going to go through and they're going to look at your profile. They're going to look at a lot of other things. And they might even click that follow button. And now you've got a new follower. Then you start engaging with them and building friendship, building a relationship. And that's the natural progression. So just one more thing that you can do to build a following. The next one is Insta tip number 5, use pictures with faces. So I thought this was interesting. So pictures with faces have 38% more likes and 32% more comments. So if you're constantly just putting quote, 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 you're limiting yourself. Make sure that you are putting, people want to see faces. I think it's just relatability. Yeah. It's about connecting, right? At the end of the day, it's about connecting. They want to know who you are, what you're about. Maybe it's family. If you're comfortable sharing family, don't always have to do that. Everybody has different philosophies there, but faces get you more engagement. You like this one? Why don't you cover this one?
I was just going to add this in I forgot we had a slide on it. Okay. Use the best Insta filters. I am a huge fan of good filters for many reasons. A lot of times, when you're on the go or you don't always have the perfect lighting. So you want to make sure when you take that picture and then you're like, oh, the lighting wasn't that great because maybe, you're outside and it's super bright, but you wanted to capture the moment. So I'm a huge fan of finding good filters. I feel like Instagram has a lot of really good ones. Personally, I love them, but also there's other apps that you can get for filters because let's remember, if you're on Instagram, your image is important as far as like the image that you want people in your story to swipe up to your link or to be motivated to go to your Insta page. Then you want to have attractive photos or photos that are, just pretty and well lit. Georgia Tech and Yahoo Labs released studies, 6.7 million photos on Instagram and Flickr, and that they found warm tones in red and yellows with higher contrast and exposure performed the best. Cooler colors, the blues and greens, or higher saturated performed worse. Interesting. And I noticed that, okay, go ahead. And then artificial aging resulted in lower comments too. Interesting. So, Travis, expand on the artificial aging because we've talked about this, me and you.
Or just if you're putting pictures that are up there that show aged photos or they look like antique style photos, those type of things. Those are the type of pictures that they're referring to.
Yeah, and I've noticed too that's kind of a trendy thing for people. I've like, why? Even my girls I've caught. I don't know if it's a younger generation thing or what, but I'm like, why did you choose that filter? It looks like it has like little specks on it or something weird like that. But so yeah, stay away from those that distort the picture and go towards more warm tones. Unless maybe, I think the blue-green would be pretty if you're at the beach. Maybe then that would be a little good.
All right, number 7, call your audience to action. So this is a really, really good one. So at the end of a post, you can ask a question to start a conversation. That creates engagement. Use a prompt like tag someone if, or ask your audience to double tap if they agree to a statement. So let me give you a couple of different examples. You can ask a question to start a conversation. What's the easiest way to get someone to respond? Just answer a dead simple question. If you take a look over here on the right-hand side, their picture, they're asking a question, 1, 2, or 3, and you can look at the engagement that they got simply by asking a question. They even did it in their picture. So that's one way that you can pull people in, draw engagement, tag somebody if. So a new fan has liked your photo. How likely do they know someone else who might like it as well? So if birds of a feather flock together, here's a simple way to get new followers. Just end your comment with, hey, tag someone if you think they would be interested in this product, or if you know that they would be happy to, learn more about DNA nutrition, whatever the case might be. So just something like that might make a difference, or even something as simple as, look, double tap if you agree. As simple as it sounds, asking your audience to like your post, it's really never been easier. Think about it from this perspective. People are just browsing, right? They're browsing through their feed without giving it much thought. So by giving them a simple prompt to like your photo, you may find that it gets them to actually take that action that you're looking for, which gets you more visibility and ultimately more engagement. You know, this one also is very interesting to me. Emojis. You like emojis?
Yes, I do like emojis. I like emojis a lot. I just think they're fun and they're cute, and I do think that they grab your attention. So I like to use them when I construct my written text, and then I also like to use them in my stories. Also, you know, what's cool about doing Instagram and the stories, you can take polls that say yes or no by asking a question, and people can tap yes or no. You can ask a question. You can actually now on the stories, hey, ask me a question and I'll answer it. And basically there's like a little thing that you can do, and people can send you a question and then you can answer it in your story. And then everybody will see the question that they ask you, and everybody will see the answer. So that's another way to engage in your story. And also add those cute little emojis. I like the little GIFs too. I like the little active GIFs for like sparkles or arrows. Like if you're pointing to a website, a link, or you know, anything fun. It's just fun. I like
25% higher engagement when you're using emojis. Bottom line.
I believe it.
And then, of course, Instagram stories. Summer has really, this is her expertise, and I've really started to get more and more into this. And I know many of you guys are using the Facebook option for stories as well. Guys, stories is where it's at right now. Stories is where it's at. Never take your product in the morning without at least filming you taking that product. Maybe every day you do it in a fun, creative way. Maybe you do it in a different location. Maybe you just do something, but always take that product. I remember in the old days, they'd say, take your product with you wherever you go. I mean, if it was a juice, it was like, you know, never leave home without a bottle and drink that thing everywhere you go. So it's hard to take pills everywhere you go, but these stories give you an opportunity to be able to do that. But the main thing that stories do is they give people, it's kind of like a reality show. It gives people a glimpse behind all of the polished lights. I mean, sometimes the pictures are, you know, we take 10 pictures to get the perfect picture, or, you know, we put our highlight reel out there on social media. The highlight or the stories give you a chance to just be real. It gives people a chance to know you. And I always say that if people do business with people that they like and trust. And so it's really good for them to be able to see what goes on behind the scenes and utilizing these stories. And there's some wonderful people. Look at influencers, look at what they're doing and just mimic them because they do an amazing job.
Yeah, love it.
So use those stories. And finally, this is not for everybody. This is something that we did, and I wanted to share the results with you. I've posted this on social media. This is my disclaimer. So everybody knows I'm not an affiliate of this company. This company is not paying me. This is a company that I'm utilizing personally simply because I needed some help. We're at a point where our business is growing fast enough that I just don't have tons of time, but I really wanted to expand my influence. And so we decided to bring to hire a brand management company. I've tried a few, and most of them just brought in fake likes that I wasn't happy about. And so what would happen is my likes or my followers would go up and then immediately they'd start dropping, which is how you know that they're not real. And so I was referred to a boutique branding company that I work with. And these guys have done a phenomenal job for me. So if you're looking for someone that can help you, we went to them and we said, look, we want to try and negotiate a discount with our team. In fact, the owner said that he couldn't be here tonight, but he said he'd be available to come on maybe in the future and talk a little bit about this. But just so you guys know, these were my results. If anybody's interested, I'm looking, if you see them at 9,400, at 10,000, it opens up those business tools and resources for my page. But this was this is exactly what I did. So we had 5,980 followers on my page on February 1st. January is when we decided to really start focusing in on Instagram. And by February 28th, I had 9,074. Today, I have 9,400 new active followers, so approximately 3,094 in 1 month. But what was interesting, if you see that top up, if you look at the picture up at the top, I actually just added that into their little slide, 1,425 profile visits in the last 7 days. So I'm getting tons of traffic coming to my profile, and those people are clicking on my links. I actually signed up a 10-pack on Saturday from somebody that literally clicked on my page, came to Instagram, found me on Instagram, and
I don't even think you called that person yet. Did you have to have an in-person call?
No, they came through our inbox. So we are now developing leads, and I'm now going to move up. They have a couple of different options. I'm actually going to go up one level to the $299 because I want to have the direct message option that goes out and introduces me to every person that follows me. But they manage it all for us, and so this is something that I am working on, I'm doing, and if you guys want to take advantages of it, we did negotiate a little bit of a discount for you. So knock yourselves out if this is something that you guys want to do. Once again, we're not involved with them. We're not trying to make money on the company. We simply just wanted to bring something of value